Hi everyone. You might have heard a lot of time people mentioning that, it's always good to have someone by your side. But what exactly it means to be having that someone by your side has been beautifully captured by Dostoevsky in his book White Nights, a title that I recently wrapped up. So, in this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on White Nights. So, let's begin. The book follows the story of a lonely dreamer who leads a solitary existence under the skies of Petersburg. So, how his solitary existence looks like is what forms the basis of the story for the most part. He is shown as a person, our dreamer is shown as a person who is so lonely that when everyone is going somewhere or the other during the holiday season, our dreamer is so lonely that nobody invites him. He has no acquaintance, even though he has been living in Petersburg for almost 8 years now. But he does not know anyone and he is invited by nobody. He yearns for companionship. That is the idea of a dreamer. So, if I were to describe you how Dostoevsky has described his dreamer, there are a couple of words which I would like to read out to you. It suddenly seemed to me that I was lonely, that everyone was forsaking me and going away from me. Of course, anyone is entitled to ask who everyone was, for though I had been living almost 8 years in Petersburg, I had hardly an acquaintance. There is a part where our dreamer mentions that I was acquainted with all Petersburg as it was. That's why I felt as though they were all deserting me when all Petersburg packed up and went to its summer villa. I felt afraid of being left alone, and for 3 whole days I wandered about the town in profound dejection, not knowing what to do with myself. So, what exactly does he mean when he says he's acquainted with all of Petersburg is described in these sentences, which I'm about to read. I shall never forget an incident with a very pretty little house of a light pink color. It was such a charming little brick house. It looked so hospitably at me and so proudly at its ungainly neighbors that my heart rejoiced whenever I happened to pass it. Suddenly last week I walked along the street, and when I looked at my friend, I heard a plaintive, "They are painting me yellow, the villains, the barbarians." They had spared nothing, neither columns nor cornices, and my poor little friend was as yellow as a canary. It almost made me bilious, and to this day I have not had the courage to visit my poor, disfigured friend, painted the color of a celestial empire. So now you understand, reader, in what sense I'm acquainted with all Petersburg. So basically, when our dreamer mentions that he's aware or he's acquainted with all of Petersburg, he does not mean that he has some acquaintances or some people that he shares his friendly bond with, but he has seen a house getting painted from pink to yellow. So that's how kind of, he is acquainted with the Petersburg. So the subtitle of the story is very interesting. It says a sentimental story from the diary of a dreamer. So what exactly is a dreamer? Let me just read it out to you in Dostoevsky's words. What he looks like. Let me tell you that in these corners live strange people, dreamers. The dreamer, if you want an exact definition, is not a human being, but a creature of an intermediate sort. For the most part, he settles in some inaccessible corner as though hiding from the light of day. Once he slips into his corner, he grows to it like a snail, or anyway, he is in that respect very much like that remarkable creature which is an animal and a house both at once, and is called a tortoise. The comparison of the dreamer to a tortoise because they both live inside their shell, inside those four walls that our dreamer lives in. So this story is basically a reflection of, it reflects on the ideas of how when a seed of loneliness is planted in a person, the kind of lifestyle that he creates for himself, what it looks like, and the kind of longing that he has to be seen, to be heard, to be, to be having that someone. Like if you remember in the starting of the video, I mentioned that it's always good to have someone. That's what we all say. Keep on saying that. It's always good to have someone, that's someone to talk to, to have your conversations with. But if you don't have that someone to talk to, what kind of lifestyle can be created for that person in loneliness and all of loneliness, that is beautifully captured throughout the pages of this book. And this book is also about unrequited love, which of course is like, it again boils down to the fact that what it does to a person when, in this case, the dreamer had been thinking of that person being his, to stay, but even that person leaves. So, again, the loss of companionship that the dreamer goes through, what happens. So, all of it is beautifully captured in this book. So, in this video, I have like captured my thoughts, general thoughts on the book. And maybe like I'll create another review video for it. But till then, if you liked the video, do hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And of course, share it with your friends and family if you think it's worth sharing. And I'll meet you in the next one.